Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. Hello, everyone. We're being broadcast live tonight, of course, on Truth Frequency Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and TalkStream Live. And also on YouTube. So hello, YouTube. I hope you guys are having just a fantastic day that ends in Y. Oop, not that button. Just want to make sure I have this right. No, I don't want that. You ever look at something like, I want to make sure I have this. And, oh, that's what I want. Yes. Okay. Just want to make sure my audio is coming through, right? You know? That's all. So, yay, Julia. I'm sorry about the one you didn't get. That was cute. And bah humbug. I'm just saying. I think I need a new straw. So, broadcast live. So, YouTube world, make sure you put the thumbs up button, you know? You guys know the drill. Maybe I don't say it often enough. Thumbs up button. No matter how you are listening in, make sure you, say hello in one of the chat rooms or send me the email at wildepaisley@gmail.com. That's WILDEPAISLEY @gmail.com. Excuse me. And then if you want to learn more about me and why I do things, I'm trying to keep the website updated. So you can always go to www.paisleywild.com. If you want to just support my radio habit, which is absolutely fine with me, it's a hashtag with 0 spaces. It's $TheSpacesBetween. Yeah, that's me. Leo, I got your email, and I don't know why. To answer you, it should work, but if it's not working still, I'm gonna have to beat something up. So yeah, yes, there it's. Let's see what else. Oh, as long as you're checking out websites and looking up things online, check out iLife.com. iLife is the official sponsor for Truth Frequency Radio. iLife combines the non-psychoactive properties of the ayahuasca plant with the high-quality CBD to help cure what ails you. And let's see. All right. So, I am trying to type and talk at the same time. So, happy full moon, everyone. It is the full buck moon because it's called that. Mostly because, well, right now, deer in general have their antlers out in full. And the deer, generally speaking, shed their antlers every year. So that's why there's so many antlers available for sale. It's not because they are All right. Night, Julia. Good luck tomorrow. Let me know how it goes. It's not because, people are, killing deer to get the antlers. No, just every year they shed their antlers in the fall, winter-ish. Just like some trees, drop their leaves every year. So it's just part of the fall process. But yeah, right now, deer, for the most part, their antlers are full grown. And before too long, the velvet will start stripping from the antlers. And when that's all done-ish, that's when they go into rut, or it becomes hunting season here. And, they start, the boy deer start looking for the girl deer. Yes, the full moon last night, I haven't seen it yet tonight because I'm in the dungeon. It was gloriously orangey red, and Minnie-Me was actually kind of afraid of it last night. She's like, oh no, it's scary, it's all red. And yeah, I can see how if you don't understand, the why it's red, that's because all the smoke in the air. No. I have a mocha shake, and I keep stepping myself with the straw. Dang it. But yeah, it was just beautiful and glorious. And if you didn't know it's because of smoke, then yeah, you'd see it and be like, oh my gosh, it's scary. And I get it. So just talking about the full moon just a little bit. Moon water is a good thing. Moon water can just be water. I generally recommend a glass vessel rather than a metal one, or a plastic, although, you use what you have. And basically, the energy from the moon is soaking into the water, and you can use the water for rituals, like hand fastings, christenings, that kind of thing, blessings in general, or you can use it in, your spell work, or you can use it for like protection spells and such, or sigils, like if you're going to draw them on your windows and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just super cool. Wanda says she has a bunch of antlers that she uses for different things. I have a skull sitting on my workbench right now that I've been staring at a bit, trying to decide what I'm going to do to it. No, it's just, it needs to be engraved or embellished in some way, shape, or form, and I'm just not quite there yet. I've been kind of pondering the chakra stones down the forehead of the skull. Other than that, it's kind of up in the air. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But with full moons, we talk about full moons periodically throughout the year, at least every month. Basically, full moons are kind of the culmination or the buildup of energy, if you will, and or climaxes. And so often, from new moon to full moon, we're building up energy. Generally, it's a positive energy. We're increasing. So if you're doing ritual work or spell work where you're trying to have something grow, as the moon is waxing or getting bigger, that's when you want to do it, because you want to put that positive energy into it. And it's like, whoop, now I want this really big thing to happen. You do the ritual or the spell on the full moon day or night, or whichever works best for you. And then if you're trying to get rid of something in your world, which I get, sometimes we just want to get rid of things, because yes, that's when the moon from full to new, when it's waning or getting smaller, that's when it's good to do, because that energy is departing. Now, sometimes the energy of the new moon is every bit as strong as the energy of the full moon. It's just the opposite side of the moon, basically. Kind of like the Beltane versus Samhain. Same energy, just, the veil is thin at that point, Beltane to Samhain. New moon, full moon, very, very similar energy. Well, hey, Nace, how's it going? So, yeah, the buck moon this year definitely has a little bit of energy to it. And it's just a time of ripeness. So, like here, locally, huckleberries are pretty much ripe. Blueberries are ripe. Depending on your garden and how it grows, you should be harvesting some things. I've got a cucumber. I'm totally stoked about the cucumber. My other plants are complicated, but then it's been a very complicated season. Summer has been quite odd this year. It was quite hot for a bit, and now it's been quite cool. I'm wearing a sweater tonight, folks, because it's been cool. Every time I look at the forecast, like, how did we drop 5 degrees for tomorrow since noon? Well, partly it's the smoke in the air is blocking some of that sunlight coming in, and so yes, it's cooling down. And that's just kind of the way of it this time of year. Normally, this doesn't happen until, say, August into September, but I don't know. It's interesting. We'll just put it that way. So, full moon energy. Are you trying to heal some pain? Great time to do a ritual for yourself tonight. Or trying to connect with others. Sometimes that connection energy is what we really need. Or you just need to feel empowered to do what you need to do, whether it's looking for a job, looking for a house, putting your intention out there, because you know what? It's going to work out. That energy is there to be used, period. So, now if it doesn't work out, if you have a ritual or ceremony and you don't get the results that you were hoping for, I sure hope you've journaled everything and what you did and how you did it and the outcome you were hoping for. And then, remember, our spirit guides, help direct that energy. Our ancestors help direct that energy. Garth Brooks has a song that says, thank God for unanswered prayers. Well, even though I'm not praying to Yahweh or Jehovah, I do thank the gods for unanswered prayers, because if I had had all of the prayers answered that I was asking for at the time, wow, would I be a different person today? Probably not very happy with me either. So I'm quite happy with who I am these days. And if I'd had those prayers answered, yeah, things would have been different. So it's okay to not have some of those things answered, because even though it seems like the right thing right now, our spirit guides, they kind of know what the plan is, and they're there to nudge us back onto the plan. And some of those things that we're asking for aren't quite the things that we really truly need. So yeah. So what is it you guys are looking for tonight? Question. Let's see, hold on. Gotta look at... Crazy, I gotta look at my own calendar and make sure I'm doing the right thing. I am trying to update the calendar on the website, just so you all know, so that if I have something coming up as far as shows or topics or what have you, I am able to track them onto the calendar. Maybe. Yes, Julia, happy birthday to Daniel, and happy birthday in just about a month for you. Calendar, where are you, calendar? I go through and I update things, and maybe I should just stop touching them, for crying out loud. Because there's supposed to be a calendar there. Drat. Maybe I didn't. Now suddenly I'm wondering, did I remember to publish? I don't know. So basically what I was going to say is the last Saturday of the month, remember, we are doing dream interpretation. And so that will be July 31st. So if you guys want to talk about dream interpretation, that's when we do it. And then, there's the calendar. I just got to be patient. I'm not very good at that at all. Also, Lammas is coming up. It's crazy how time is flying. And then for those of you who are local, Hectic Eclectics, we're going to get together for coffee on Sunday. I was kind of thinking that we're going to meet in the park, but after careful consideration and looking out of the snow, we'll probably stick with Starbucks in Ponderay. So I'll update the Facebook and such. So yeah, if you're local, let's get together for coffee. I mean, why not? It's just coffee. It's not a commitment. So Leo asks a question. He says, I wonder what you think of the play on words with the word spell, as in we spell words, yet we say spells. So are we always doing spells? Well, yes. Spells are a way of channeling energy and intent, in my interpretation. So if you're spelling words out, you're channeling your energy and your intent to communicate a concept or an idea or a message. So yes, if you're spelling something out, you're trying to convey a message. And spell work is very much similar. You're trying to convey a message. So yeah, I think it's quite similar. Let's see if I can stab myself again. Yay, no stabbing. I don't know what happened to my straw. It's just, that's what I get for having permanent straws, right? So yeah, spelling is focusing intention. Spelling a word, you're trying to focus the people on making sure they have the right word. Otherwise, you have that their problem. The THEIR, THEY apostrophe RE, or the THERE, there. Well, if you spell it wrong, you're conveying the wrong message. So if you're casting a spell, you want to make sure you're conveying the right message. So you want to use the words that have the right meaning for you and the right elements to have the right meaning for you. So I don't know if that helps Leo or not. But yes, it's a way of conveying that information or message. Sorry, that's just really awesome. Mocha shake. Can't go wrong with coffee and chocolate and ice cream. Ever. So I participate in quite a few different social media groups online and such. And one of them, we had a bit of it was a dialogue, but it was an argumentative one. And I thought maybe, talking about it tonight might be a good thing. Basically, the person wanted to create a post that discussed black magic and white magic and how it's racist, and how instead of saying black magic and white magic, we should be saying light magic and dark magic. And it was a post that was denied because it was one that instead of trying to create a conversation or discourse or a dialogue, if you will, instead it is very argumentative and very racist in its statements. And the person who wanted to post this was a person of color, and it was frustrating because, no, that's not what it's not what the meaning behind black magic is. And so I know I've talked about it a little bit in the past about black magic versus white magic, but I got to thinking, let's just go into it a little bit more today. Yes, Leo. Leo says, just thought it was interesting how maybe we spell all day without thinking about it until we do realize what it means to spell. Now, I have to tell you, there are times when I spell a word out, I'm like, that's not right. I fix it. Nope, that's not right. And then after 2 or 3 times of trying to fix a word, it's like, that just looks wrong. It's like, either look it up or use a different word. So, yes. But anyways, yeah, so this gal, I think she was coming from an authentic place and was trying really, truly to try to convey a message and educate people. But she started with the foundation of her education without the right information. And this is why it's so important for us to do our research and to learn more about our path. If you're going to be a witch or if you're going to be a pagan, it is up to you to really, truly dive into the research and learn the things that you need to learn to understand what you're doing. Just like with a lot of other traditions or paths, coming from a Christian background, I can say, well, Christians generally, you've got the baptism, you've got going to church, Sunday school, you've got confirmation, you've got communion, you've got Bible studies, all of, not just going to church, but all of these other things, prayer circles, etc., etc. And often it's because they are trying to learn more about Christianity and understand it more and the nuances of it more. Because if someone is just entering the Christian world and they don't understand it, well, going through a confirmation class, so you understand the basics of the Bible and the rules and the structure and such, that's a really good thing. And some churches have even more stricter rules when it comes to becoming part of the congregation because they really want you to accept their dogma 100% and be a part of their dogma, which, that's part of what they're doing. So when it comes to paganism and witchcraft, we really do need to do something similar, whether it's reading books, which there are quite a few out there, or joining social media sites so you can learn more, or joining a local group where you can learn more about your path and more information about the different deities you work with. That's really, truly what you need to do. Yes, there are publications out there, and pathos.com is a good one. There are other, often regional resources for media, print media. And there's YouTube shows like this one, or TikTok, or Reddit, or what have you. And because there's all these different things, there's all these different avenues or ways to learn more about your path or how to be a pagan or what paganism really means to someone. So, same thing. We need to learn as much as we can. Truly, we just need to learn as much as we can. That way, when it comes to a discussion or conversation with someone who doesn't understand those basic foundations, we come from a place of knowledge, not just a place of opinion. I mean, opinion can only get you so far. You do have to have some knowledge. Otherwise, you're not much different than anybody else with, 3 cents that they want to share. So, hold on.
Well, that just makes you look and sound ignorant, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you don't understand the foundation from which you're speaking, it's like saying, oh, well, the pyramids are made out of marshmallows. You don't really know. I suppose they could have been. It would totally explain how they got all of those rocks moved if they were technically marshmallows.
That's true, yeah. They roasted them to firm them up a bit.
Exactly. That's how some of that vitrification when they melted everything together. Exactly, Naysay. Who let the dogma out? So when it comes to witchcraft and understanding magic and the difference between black magic and white magic, a lot of people today assume that black magic is bad and white magic is good because, the white hats are the good guys and the black hats are the bad guys. Right? As Don rolls his eyes verbally.
I saw this post in some Facebook, I don't know, it was like witches and wizards or something, I don't know. And somebody says something about, and I'm just kind of, I'm not paraphrasing, I'm just trying to remember, but they said basically, does anybody in this group practice the dark arts, or is everybody a granola crunching hippie? And I was like, wow, how condescending, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, dark arts, how very, Harry Potterish of you.
Yeah, okay, Malfoy.
And so it was like, somebody, why would anybody, first of all, go looking to deal in dark magic, or dark whatever. Mm-hmm. And the ignorance with which it came from, it's like dark arts. That's the only thing, they think. This must have been like, in my opinion, somebody who was like, 20-something, grew up watching the Harry Potter movies, and they didn't know what else to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And so the ignorance is immediately there. And when somebody in the comments tried to correct them, or give them a better way to say it, alternative words, shall we say, they just because you don't call it the dark arts doesn't mean it's not there. Or something to that effect, total ignorance coming back. It's like, oh, okay. Instead of saying, the right-hand path, the left-hand path, whatever. They just stuck to that Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a fair number of folks out there that are witches because of Harry Potter. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. I
They're
mean, you
more
got to
like
start
what's,
somewhere.
not witches.
Yeah, the what's? Oh, they're wizards. You're a wizard, Harry.
Damn
But
warlocks.
so yes, understand the foundation, understand the words and the where it comes from, because the implication that the author of the article that or the post that I was reading earlier that I mentioned at the beginning, she was trying to say that black magic was racist by calling it black.
Oh my gosh.
And white magic was racist because we were calling it white. And so she wanted to clarify light magic versus dark magic. But because she was coming from a place, she thought it was authentic, but she didn't understand the foundation of
It's all the
where
same
those
foundation.
labels came from. So we're about to go to break, and when we come back, I'm going to go into that a bit more because, yeah, I just want to make sure. I know most of you get it, but for those of you who are new to the channel, I want to really, we're going to get into it a little bit more. So, anyways, bottom of the hour, we're off to break. When we come back, we're going to talk about black magic and white magic and what the difference is and isn't. And so happy full moon, and we, as soon as I can find the right button, we'll be right back. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. Hi. Welcome to joining my show. Yeah, there's all those words that I'm glad I don't have to spell. So tonight we're talking about black magic and white magic, differences in history and such. And happy full moon. Make sure you have your moon water out there. And yeah. If you have a question and you want to ask in the chat room, please do so. Or if you do have the urge to call in, the phone lines are open, and that number is 213-233-3998. Or if you're across the pond in the UK, it is 44203-393-2871. Also, tonight is a great, great time with the full moon energy and light to cleanse those crystals and stones. Now, if you buy things secondhand, cleansing is good. For some things, soap and water is really important. Some things don't do as well with soap and water because, like kyanite, for instance. If Don was sitting over here, I'd have him grab a piece. Kyanite, not really something you should get, soaking in the water. It'll dissolve. A lot of those type stones will dissolve in water. So when it comes to cleansing them, salt is good. Moonlight is good. Sunlight is good. Be careful with the sunlight because some things will fade over time, like citrine or amethyst. And just be careful. But yeah, selenite, you can give it a quick rinse. You can. Just be careful. You want to make sure you pat it dry really good. And just cleanse things with care. That's all. If you do use moldavite, just so you know, you can cleanse it in a pot of sand, like a terracotta pot, no hole in the bottom, or a bowl, a stone bowl with the sand in it or salt in it, whatever. And if you're done using it, it will still disappear. It'll go right through the ether to where it needs to go. So even in controlled circumstances, sometimes the stones that we don't need anymore, or either we're not ready for them, which I've seen, or we have worked through the thing that stone needed to support us for, it'll leave and move on. Naysay asks, where is the gray magic? Well, it's kind of this stuff that's growing out of my head right here, this gray. No. Gray, in theory, falls between the black and the white magic. But, why is my phone making noise? It's on mute. Oh, it's a commercial. Why is it weird? Even when I mute the things still talk to me. Shh. Ooh. Hey, let's turn it off. When was the last time I turned my phone off? Did you know you should turn your phone off ever so often so it resets? Sometimes your phone needs a hard reset. That's what a concussion does to some of us. It's a hard reset, right? Not that I recommend it. Anyways, so black magic versus white magic. So, once upon a time, paganism was everywhere. Witches were in every culture. Magic was something that was commonplace. It was normal. And the Judeo-Christian world hadn't really sprung forth yet. And so, the time of the elder gods was dominant. And as cultures evolved and changed, and the rise of the Abrahamic traditions happened, because it did, and that's okay, the concept of magic altered also. And so the word magic is rooted in, the root word is Greek or Latin. It's magia, and which is from the Greek word magoi, which was from a Median tribe in Persian, and their specific religion, Zoroastrianism. And according to the Greco-Roman traditions, it held that magicians possessed arcane or secret knowledge and the ability to channel power from or through any of the deities, spirits, or ancestors of the ancient pantheons. And many of the traditions associated with the classical world derived from a fascination of ancient Middle Eastern beliefs, and were concerned with the need for counter magic against sorcery. So spells uttered by sorcerers, often and addressed to the gods, for fire, for salt, for rain, that kind of thing, were common. And they actually have records of those from historical texts of Mesopotamia and Egypt, which was, the Egyptians wrote down a lot of stuff. Not all of it mattered, but they still wrote down a lot of stuff. Now, some of the texts also talked about necromancy, which was invoking the spirits of the dead. Now, understand that. Invoking the spirits of the dead. That doesn't mean raising the spirits and calling them forth and having zombies. It's invoking the spirits of the dead or communicating with the spirits of the dead. So technically, ghost hunters are necromancers. And Don just about had a noodle come out his nose.
Yep.
Not on camera, sadly, but microphone, but not camera. He would have choked. So it's the spirits of the dead, by the way, were not bad. They were considered the last defense against evil magic. I about got another noodle.
The defense against dark arts.
Okay. So, anyways, often there were parts and pieces of animals and plants and sometimes people. Remember, the Egyptians were odd. We'll just leave it at that. They were odd. Fascinating, but some of the things they believed, just like many, many ancient cultures, just don't make a lot of sense to us these days. But lots of different bits and pieces from the world around them went into a pot, if you will, along with instructions or ritualistic preparations to help ensure the efficacy of the spells. So, efficacy, not efficacy. Efficacy. They were effective. So basically, they're trying to channel the energy. So I've said this once, and I've said it quite a few times. I'm going to say it again. Magic is energy. Energy is magic. So they're trying to take the energy to imbue into the spirits to make them manifest into a defense. And in order to make sure that energy was channeled correctly, they would use spell work. So can you rattle off just some words or throw your intention out there and have it be successful to, protect yourself from negative energy? Yes. Can you do that to protect your home? Yes. Can you do it to muck up the weather? Yes. I don't recommend it, but you can. And the stronger you are, the stronger or more experienced you are in working with the energy, the less ritualistic type behaviors you need or spell work necessarily. Now, when you're new and you still have on your training wheels on your broom, you often do need to make sure you have all the different components are exactly this and you follow the recipe exactly. Just like any chef, when they first start cooking, they follow the recipe exactly. But by the time they become a 5-star Michelin chef, do they have a recipe? Maybe. Are they winging it? Probably, because they understand how the different components go together and how to enhance flavors and textures and such with the different ingredients. They know that you don't necessarily add chocolate to tuna because they know that it's just not going to work out. But they also know that if you use espresso powder in your rub for your beef before you put it on the grill, often you get a really good texture and a really good flavor. But that's because they understand the flavor profiles. So, spells and rituals.
Flavor profiles.
Yeah, flavor profiles, basically. Yeah. That's why kitchen witches are often very common, because they're doing magic just because they're following a recipe. It's part of who they are. So there's a lot of witches out there that don't know they're witches. Blah, blah, blah. So, anyways, back to the magic. As the Abrahamic traditions began to take hold and grow and influence society more and more, they had to minimize the power and the strength of paganism and witchcraft of the time. Because a lot of it was very instinctual. It's stuff they did, like knock on wood, or throw a pinch of salt over their shoulder, or, a drop of blood in the soil when they're planting, or Justin, if you're eating chocolate tuna, honey bunch, you should stop smoking that stuff. That's not the stuff you want in your pipe. Just saying. Anyways, but yeah, as the Christian era took hold and the Roman Empire strengthened their control of society, which they did, they controlled a lot of society. They started using or trying to convert people by changing their interpretation of the magic that they inherited, the heritage magic, if you will, the stuff that came from their ancestors or their spirit guides or their ancestral deities. And so initially, they called it magic. It's like, okay, everybody does magic. Okay, we get it. Yes, we get it. But as we moved into medieval Europe, or medieval European times, and the Norsemen they're trying to Christianize them because they were just a bunch of heathens, and they figured if they Christianized them, well, at least they'd be, bringing the gold to the church rather than stealing it from the church. Which, right? Anyways, so they started off by saying that those who practice white magic were there to help society. They were the healers. They were the ones that provided the tonic when you were sick, or helped the land whites to, work with the land whites to help, the crops to grow, or the spirit animals to help, guide the herds or the flocks to the hunters so that they would have, enough food to eat. Or the fish, I should say. And as they went forward, and this is about 300 Common Era-ish, so the 4th to about the 11th century. Don't mind Don, he's just choking on a noodle. Bless you. Yeah. You'd just be glad I didn't have the camera on. Anyways, so the Christian missionaries started to demonize the religious beliefs of the Celtic people, the Germanic people, the Norsemen, or the Vikings, the Scandinavians, etc. And then they also, at the same time, started appropriating and Christianizing a lot of the native practices and beliefs. Now, this is in Europe. This is before they even came to the U.S.
Before the U.S.
Yeah, this is the first trial, right? And so they were trying to say that the natural ingredients to cause healing and such, that was the white magic. But the things that were used to poison, for instance, or the folk rituals that often became associated with a demonic possession or other invisible forces, those became black magic. Krampus, for instance. Krampus was just a people, if you will, that lived in the hills above, common society. Justin says, "Stop smoking the noodles."
Yeah.
Yes. Stop smoking noodles. Although I found the perfect pipe for you to smoke noodles out of. Seriously, it was cute. It was a dragon, but it was long-stemmed. It was like a Gandalf crossed with a Chinese mythical dragon. It was awesome.
That leaf from the Shire?
Yeah. It relaxes everybody. Anyway, so initially, white magic was to heal, help your crops grow. And so people who had really good crops because they understood husbandry of the earth and how to keep nutrients in the soil to help the crops grow, that was good magic. Or animal husbandry, like, making sure your cows calved and didn't die, or your goats produced kids, or your sheep produced lambs, or your pigs produced piglets, whatever. The chicken came after the egg, etc. That was all good. Now, the stuff that was bad was the things that went bump in the night. So, Samhain, for instance, All Hallows Eve, that was considered a bad thing because they were concerned that the negative energy or the negative forces were coming into society and were possessing society. So, All Hallows Eve was there to, kind of, they made noise to scare away the ghosts and the spirits. They dressed up in costume to hide from the spirits. They left offerings out to make the spirits go away and appease them. Yes, which nowadays, kids dress up in all sorts of random costumes.
And we give them offerings to go the hell away.
Yep, and exactly. We give them offerings to go away and not egg or TP the house. Although right now, egging and TPing the house will increase the property value.
Yeah. How much toilet paper did you have last year? Oh, a few thousand rolls. So,
funny thing, my son works for an insulation company, so he puts insulation in attics and walls and stuff, and it's kind of gross and disgusting. But he was doing an attic the other day and found a full sheet of 3/4 inch OSB. He said if he could have figured out how to get that thing out of the attic without putting a new hole in the wall, he would have taken it. I can't say as I blame him, because that's like a $50 sheet of stupidity. Just resources. I'm telling you, pay attention to your resources, kids. So, resources, big deal. Now what are you looking for?
A brush, comb. Is there a comb over there? I need to comb this mop.
I have a wrench.
That's not gonna do it.
Dragon wing?
What?
Dragon wing?
No, just keep going.
Pen.
Sorry. Sorry to get you off track. Anyhow.
Anyways, Don has to groom apparently after smoking noodles. The Christendom, or the Catholic Church at that time, started co-opting the traditions and such. So they started celebrating different Christian type holidays on pagan holidays to make the locals assimilate, Don's got good words tonight, into the Christian beliefs. Like, hey, as long as you're having your party, we're going to have a party too at the same time. You guys just come. We should all get together and have a good time. But we call it Easter. We don't call it Ostara. I know, it's the same thing. We do a lot of the same stuff. But, come join us. We've got beer. Because the monks know how to brew beer. Well, it became common, the church is where we go to gather and we do the things. Well, as that, became more commonplace and more socially acceptable to have pagan things at the church, slowly it changed a little bit. It's like, well, I know you guys like to celebrate Ostara here, but we're only celebrating Easter. But you're more than welcome to come. We still have the beer. And they'd be like, you know what? That's pretty good beer last year. Let's go this time, because people are sheep. And,
Sheeple.
Right? Sheeple have been around for a long time. Oh, Leo broke his dragon pipe. Sad day. I found some really good websites because Julia's...
The halfling leaf.
Okay, Julia came over for a bit.
The halfling.
Yeah. And we were looking at pipes, and there's some really awesome ones out there for a variety of different types of leaves. Anyways, so after about the 11th century, the Christian traditions started using the word heresy a lot. Now, heresy, I'm going to give you a definition, is a theological doctrine or system rejected as false by the ecclesiastical authority.
Ecclesiastical, what a great word.
Mm-hmm.
It means nothing.
So, it's from a Greek word. So, originally from the Greek word heresis, was originally a neutral term that signified merely holding a particular set of philosophical opinions, but it was appropriated by Christianity, and so heresy went from being a neutral term to conveying disapproval. And since it was disapproval, then the word heresy became a disciplinary type thing. It's like, instead of saying, hey, what do you mean you don't believe in Christ? That's heresy. And it became a public outcry, or a public humiliation, if you will. It's amazing. Social peer pressure has been a real punishment pretty much ever since two people got together in a cave. The ostracism is a very real punishment. And so if you were found on the outside, you didn't have access to the grain. You couldn't drink the beer. Trust me, the beer was better than the water back then. And
that was a lot safer.
Yeah. Had more nutrients too. But as history changed and society evolved, a lot of the indigenous, if you will, beliefs and spiritual patterns became less and less acceptable by the group, because in the cities then, a lot of them were following the Christian doctrine, and the pagans, who were rural believers, and pagan, as I've defined in the past, is people who live in the country and believe differently than the city people.
The heathens.
Which technically I'm a pagan because I live in the country.
You're a heathen.
I'm a pantheist. Our daughter's a heathen. Just saying. But anyways, as society changed, and hey Titan, the pagans, or the country folk, have almost always wanted to be similar, or have the same perceived privileges, if you will, of the city people. They want to have the same access to society. I know that I live about 20 minutes from town, and technically a good driver could still deliver pizza in 30 minutes or less. But they won't, because I don't know, they just won't. It's sad.
They're scared of us.
Yeah, they're afraid the moose is going to hijack.
Yeah,
the moose is going to hijack the car. Yes, Leo, exactly. Leo says all daughters are heathens. So
I'd say more savage, but okay.
yeah, well, there's that too. So as society evolved, and the people in the country wanted to be more like the city people, there was like, the peer pressure, the societal pressure. It's like, ooh, I want to be like the city people. So the idea of magic or following the older traditions became less acceptable, because, you're a backwards hick if you're a pagan. If you want to be enlightened, you want to be like a city people. And Justin says that's exactly what's happening now. And
Actually, the heathens are moving out of the cities.
Yes, exactly. Heathens are moving out of the city. And no, I'm not talking Jedi versus Sith, although I have an opinion on that one too. Maybe I'll talk about it later. So the magic, the white magic, then became less acceptable, even though that energy, or that magic, was being used to heal and produce crops, because it had so many ties to the traditions of the ancestors, the paganism. It became less acceptable. So, as society changed, black witches, or black magic, was that which harmed people, and so you were likely to be crucified, drawn and quartered, stretched a bit, all different things to convince you to convert to Christianity. And if you didn't repent and convert, then often you were just killed. Now, There's a lot of mythology about being burned at the stake. Generally speaking, those that were burned at the stake were dead first. They weren't alive and burned at the stake. That's a Hollywood misconception. Anyways, so as the magic became more and more associated with paganism, even the white magic, the healing magic, became vilified. It's like, well, shoot, if you can whip up a cure for the flu, you can make the Black Plague. It's the same stuff. Well, no, it's not the same stuff. It's a different energy, and one's a virus. But they didn't understand germs and bacteria and viri back then. Everything was magic, everything had a spiritual cause. You're cursed. That's why you've got the bubonic plague. Or, you've got a possession. That's why you've got the flu. They assumed demons were at work. So instead of the deities or the ancestral deities helping and supporting people, instead everything was either the work of Christ.
That is cursed.
Exactly. Or is the work of the demons. And if it was gray or black at all in any way, shape, or form, well, obviously it was demonic. So if an animal is born slightly deformed, well, you must be cursed. And have you been exercised lately? We're offering a 2-for-1 deal. You can get the cat too. Exactly. So anyways, it's top of the hour already. So we're going to go to break. When we come back, we'll do some singing bowl. And we'll keep talking about black magic and white magic. So be right back. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we're off adventuring into these spaces between. Hope you guys are having a good day. You have a bowl. It's a dragon bowl.
This is a singing bowl. It sings to my tummy.
Don has a singing bowl for noodles. Noodle bowl. This dragon bowl is a noodle bowl. So, before, there's my thing. I have a baton. All right, so singing bowl time, and then we'll keep talking about magic. So yeah.
Yes, it has been used as an ice cream bowl.
That's a really big ice cream bowl.
That is a huge. Oh, look, there's still noodles in it.
You caught it with your beard.
No, it fell on the seat. That was good. Go ahead. Accuse me.
Leo says, noodle bowl. Wait, rice bowl. With chicken. Yes. And, yeah, noodles. Or you put a big brownie in there with a bunch of ice cream on top and a banana and some chocolate syrup. And nummy nummy. Hey, I had a mocha shake. With ice cream. Hey, you know, it's been a couple hours since I had coffee.
Oh my God, my boss.
Yeah.
I walk in, she's just like, ah, you're here.
Kind of like the boxer?
She goes, yeah. She goes, so I made more of that coffee. I'm like, oh, so you did make it? Yeah, I made a gallon of it. Apparently you drank all of it. Well, yeah, but... oh my God. There's like 3 grams of sugar per teaspoon of that condensed milk. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my. So coffee and sugar.
Oh yeah, she was buzzing.
Apparently.
By the end of the day, she's like, I usually go home.
Oh, she crashed.
Oh yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's gonna listen to this like sometime later and go, how dare you talk about me?
I'm pretend I'm a comedian and everybody's fair game. Equal opportunity joker.
Hey,
so magic.
What do you got?
Huh?
What do you got?
Top of the hour. So, let's see. Justin, just before we did the singing bowl, he goes, now you can see the real demons or evil entities right in our faces due to Christianity has been dumbed down into conspiracy land. Mm-hmm. You know, there's, I think, a lot of truth to that. So as we've entered the current age, and it is a transition, and it's not smooth yet. I think, hold on to your hats, kids. But so as we move into this age more, I think the elder gods are going to come back. I think they're going to walk among us again. They're going to be different because the larger-than-life heroes, for instance, like Thor.
Whoa. You mean the Marvel version of Thor?
No, I'm talking like Odin's son, Thor. Okay. You know, the real... Like Thor. Yeah, yes. Nope. The larger-than-life heroes are not going to be quite the same. Oh, okay. Because, you know, someone dressing up in leather, walking around with a big stick, saying, hey, I'm going to beat you up, isn't going to have quite the same impact in our society today when, you know, you can knock someone over at a mile if you have the right kind of gun.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Because half of these sheep need to be knocked over.
Well, yeah, there's that. There are some weeds in the garden.
Okay.
I will admit. Yes. and not the good weeds. These are just some weeds. So Titan says, Paisley and Don, would you all agree that attitudes, whether good or bad, can be types of magics? They can completely change the environment. Absolutely. As I've said in the past, magic is energy, energy is magic. A lot of people, when they talk about or start talking about what is magic, they're trying to define it as, well, it's this process of this, or it's the controlling the, the dynamic or whatever. It's this ritualistic thing. I think at its very, very basic, energy and magic are synonymous. So when you walk into an environment full of negative people, you are walking into a negative environment. You, in a previous life, worked in the correction system, right? Mm-hmm. Do you feel that the attitudes of the inhabitants affected the workplace?
I would say it didn't affect us. It affected them. Because that's the energy,
mm-hmm.
That they portrayed, and that's the energy they wanted to portray. Us as COs, we had a different attitude because we simply knew that at the end of the day, if we weren't going to the hospital, we were going home. And nobody obviously wants to go to the hospital. They want to make it home safe every night.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a different attitude, and all we could do was bring that cleaner energy, I wouldn't say clear energy, but cleaner
mm-hmm.
energy into, and try to pass it along. There was this one guy, he was in there for something just, in my opinion, almost totally stupid. But he was serving a year and a day, or 18 months, whatever. And he was a good guy. I think on the outside he would have been a good guy. He did something what as I see as stupid, but nothing too terrible. If he's to be believed, I mean, I didn't read people's jackets and stuff like that. None of my business. It would have pissed me off. But this is somebody, if I was not a corrections officer, I probably might have, palled around with a little bit,
mm-hmm.
not, because he just, like I said, in my opinion, he got caught doing something stupid that he shouldn't have been doing, and it was a little excessive. But, so he had a mostly positive attitude. But, again, he'd have days where he just was a total shit, but that's because of that energy in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's this negative energy that just overtakes everybody, and everybody has their bad days.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them live there.
Mm-hmm.
Lived in that energy. That's where they thrive. Is that,
yeah.
Negativeness.
For me, that is someone who's truly an energy vampire.
True. Yeah.
They're living on that energy.
Yeah,
so
because sometimes interacting with them was just draining.
Mm-hmm.
Just draining.
Mm-hmm.
They tested you every which way but left.
Mm-hmm. Like a teenager?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess what I'm getting at then is that the energy that is around us, yes, it is definitely a type of magic. So if you wake up in the morning, it's like, it's a crap day. I don't want to go through with this. You're going to go through the whole day then having a crap day. If, however, you wake up in the morning, it's like, it could be a crap day, but it could be a good day. So I'm gonna focus on it being a good day. Odds are pretty good. It's going to be a good day. And then if you just want to just roll with it, it's like, well, what happens, happens, and we'll just deal with it. It comes up. Odds are pretty good. You're going to deal with everything that came up. So, it was, it is absolutely a type of magic. What you put out there is definitely what you're going to receive. Just like if I am in a situation where, like, I'm at the grocery store, often I am the smiling person in line, and I chat with the cashier, like, hey, it's just, how's it going? Hope I'll be your easy one today. Just do the thing, and I'll sign, and I'll smile, and it's like, woohoo, take a deep breath. Slow down if you want. I don't care. I only have like 3 things. Take your time, because often the smile that you give to the world is the only smile that everybody sees, that other people see for the day. A lot of people go through life surrounded by negativity. So if you can have that positive to give to someone else, even if sometimes that smile that you've got plastered on your face is 100% false, because it's like it's either this or I'm going to kill people. Sometimes putting that fake smile on gets you through the moment.
Well, and fake it till you make it. Really, I mean, honestly, I mean, if you're not feeling that great, put on a brave face. You'll eventually feel better, because people will see that in some way. Empaths.
Intuitives.
Intuitives. Will realize that,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you're not having a good day, but you're facing it bravely. So I will bolster you.
Mm-hmm.
I will give you my energy to,
Mm-hmm.
create a better space for yourself.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, even if you have a bad day, it's just talking easily with someone, and finding something to laugh about is the best medicine. It really
Mm-hmm.
will turn that around. I mean, how many times have you gotten up in the morning and I don't want to adult. I don't want to go, make money to pay the guy named Bill.
Me?
Um,
Constantly.
But you get out there and you're doing your thing, and you realize, it's a good thing I came to work, because otherwise I feel like crap.
Mm-hmm.
I'd make myself feel like crap. I'd crap on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so just putting on that brave face can change the day for you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Or sometimes just by getting out of the house, for instance, you can have that one interaction with one person that changes everything. Maybe for you, maybe for them, maybe for both of you. And that's kind of what I look for. Sometimes I find it. I have that interaction. It's like, woohoo, this is the great thing. We exchange business cards. They're going to be on the show. I've got this. They're going to get, right, yeah. that rush of energy, and it changes everything. Other times I go through the days like, screw this. I'm going to go home. I'm going to take my ball. I'm going to put it away. I'm going to put on my pajamas and go back to bed. I don't care that it's noon. And sometimes we do have to do that too, because that's, self-care does need to happen.
Right.
But
stepping back and letting things go.
But generally speaking, yeah, what you put out there or what you look for is what you're going to receive. Because I've seen it in school settings, among peers when I was in school, and as a substitute teacher, which was an adventure, and just being around, because teenagers and such, I've seen it. If you assume that you're going to have a bad relationship with a specific teacher,
your day's going to go to hell.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
I say this all the time on this show, on Brent, on the show with Brent, the Portal. We manifest our own realities.
Mm-hmm.
If you say you're going to get sick and you keep telling yourself you're going to get sick, guess what? You're probably going to get sick. If you tell yourself you're going to have a good day, even if you're fooling yourself, just the attitude of the words,
Mm-hmm.
Putting those thoughts into vibrations and sending that energy out, will come back to you,
Mm-hmm.
one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I really believe in speaking our reality. Saying, I'm going to have a good day. It's going to be okay. Do the Jack Handy thing.
Yeah.
Daily affirmations with Jack Handy. And not the Stewart version, the Jack Handy version. I'm worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that if it works for you. Great. I think that one's a little silly, but just speaking our realities. Today's not so bad. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do my thing, and I will eventually feel better.
Exactly. And sometimes, if you're in a relationship, whether friendship, child, significant other, etc., sometimes it really helps to leave something in their pocket. So when they get to work or school or whatever, they're like, oh, Mom does love me, even though we got into a big fight last night. Or,
yeah, exactly.
Or, someone likes me, there's chocolate in my pocket. Or,
somebody doesn't like me, they just took a bat to my head.
okay, sometimes that happens. Or it's like, I don't know where the coffee card came from, but I'm going to get the coffee. So, it's, sometimes you have to put that positivity out to others too, in that very tangible way. Sometimes positivity does need to be tangible.
Yeah, I mean, that you could be having a rotten day,
Mm-hmm.
I got up late, I didn't have any breakfast, I didn't have any coffee. So I just thought, you know what? I'll just come to work. I could take an extra minute, get a cup of coffee, and after that first sip of coffee, it's like,
That's because coffee is the magical bean juice. And coffee is awesome. So, yeah, Titan says, good words. Yes, I believe purpose is devoted to energy, good or bad. Just amazing that there are those that cannot devote goodness to others. Yeah, it's the keyboard warrior syndrome that we've got going on right now.
tough guy. Tough guy. Yeah, tough guy.
So, okay, I watch these TikTok videos every so often.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, this one was really, really apropos because he was about our age. So he grew up, 80s was where his in 70s, 80s, 90s. And he said, once upon a time, if you're driving your parents nuts, they'd kick you outside and tell you not to come in until the lights came on outside. It's like, okay. And you didn't worry about technology or cell phones because they didn't exist, which totally blows Mini-Me's mind. You didn't have phones? Anyway.
She uses the word technology.
Yeah, she uses technology, yeah. It blows her gourd, though. But he said back then, or our generation, doesn't have that same problem as the younger generation does when it comes to giving opinions or explaining things or, hey, I have a problem with you. Because when we grew up, if you had a problem with someone, you had to walk up. Well, you had to walk up to them and say,
talk to him, yeah.
you suck and I don't like you. And instead of typing it out like, you are a D-canoe and I don't like you and you will never know who I am. It's like, that's just not very effective. It doesn't have quite the same. It doesn't have quite the same impact. Not as satisfying either, honestly.
You can't just turn around and punch him.
Exactly. So, because of that, I think there are a lot of people who feel very secure with the keyboard warrior syndrome, if you will. And so, yeah, they're like, I don't have to be a good guy. Nobody knows who I am. I'm just going to be a jerk. I don't care.
And I wonder how many of those people are, just, some slob sitting in their mother's garage, honestly, firing off their opinion because they can.
Mm-hmm.
But when they get into a social setting, they just shut right up.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of that. Yeah, the keyboard warriors. It's the security blanket of the keyboard.
There's no repercussions to what I say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not quite like doing it in the bar to some chick who's going to turn around and deck you. I've done that. So,
doing it in the bar or the decking?
The decking, yeah. I was a cocktail waitress in a previous life because I think customer service is something, or service industry is something everybody should experience once. Hey, the tips are great, by the way. And but
don't walk in front of me while I'm driving.
No kidding. But anyways, yeah, busting tables and drunk guys are drunk guys, and so are mostly empty bottles of melted ice, or glasses of melted ice. So yeah, there's repercussions for his behaviors, but yeah, it was right there in his face, literally. So, anyways, back to magic. What you put out there, or what you look for as far as energy goes, that's exactly what you're going to find. So if you're looking to have a bad day, you're going to have a bad day. If you're expecting to have a bad day, you're going to have a bad day. If you're expecting to have a good day, that's what you're going to have. So what you look for is what you're going to receive. Or if you wish ill on everybody around you, it's pretty good. That's the kind of energy you're going to get back. Just because, Eeyore and Oscar the Grouch, sure, they look great on TV, but in reality, they don't have as many friends as Oscar the Grouch and Eeyore have. So, although Eeyore's pretty cool. So, I know. It is cool that his friends accepted him just as he was and didn't try to change him. Back to magic, though. I know, right? Squirrel shiny. Black magic originally was just the magic that was demonized or vilified by the Catholic Church. As the rise of Christianity started to take more and more, or take over the culture and society more and more. So white magic originally was accepted because it was healing magic. But as things progressed and the church wanted more control, white magic became vilified also, even though it was healing magic. And that's why healers often, they didn't hang a shingle out saying, "Hey, I'm a healer, come here if you've got the flu." Instead, there'd be a specific bundle of herbs maybe in the window, or, who the herb woman was, or a lot of the knowledge, the healing knowledge, was not as commonly known. Instead, it was whatever you learned from your own parents, because you didn't go do the apprenticeship with the herb, the hedge witch, or the herb woman, in the next town over.
Titan, don't be sorry, because here's the thing. He says, Titan says, sorry, Paisley, rabbit trail. But here's the thing. What you just said. Well, also, knowledge is a form of power, but with the world at our fingertips, we have to be careful because we cannot fully know the truth of it all. It just leaves us tainted. Now, here's the thing about that.
Mm-hmm.
When we're talking about what you just talked about, knowing the hedge witch, knowing
Mm-hmm.
the person who has the knowledge to help you get well, that person with the knowledge has the power.
Mm-hmm.
And the Abraham faith came up,
Mm-hmm.
and they said, okay, well, we're taking this power from you, we're going to vilify you, and your knowledge is now poison to the minds of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so they tried to take that power, and they did.
Mm-hmm.
For a couple millennia.
Yes.
A few millennia. Until it started reemerging,
Mm-hmm.
So knowledge is power, and they have usurped that power. So yes, what you said was apropos, Titan. So it really was. So there you go.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Because even though it's a little bit of a rabbit trail, it's still appropriate.
It's very appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
still
besides,
appropriate.
we miss Titan ask questions.
I know Titan has to ask the questions.
So anyhow.
So, when speaking of that, though, be careful, because if you're researching and your sole resource is the internet,
Right.
which a lot of people do. I mean, a lot of us still go to the library. We still look for the physical books.
Right.
Not everybody does.
Well, get online, find out the books
Exactly.
you need to look for, and then go get them.
Exactly. So I Googled, just out of curiosity, the history of black magic. Because to me, that's a totally, completely logical thing to research, because as a witch, black magic is something that I would totally be looking for. So I get Black Magic Records, started as Black Cat Records in 1980. It's like, well, that's not appropriate. The next one, Black Magic Label, releases Discogs. The Sharonettes. Okay. It's a UK label. Black Magic, Biography and History, All Music. UK and Northern Soul reissues. Like, all right, Black Magic Records, Facebook. Okay. Then my next resource is Black Magic from Wikipedia. And it's like history. Well, like its counterpart of white magic. So black magic is Wikipedia, for those of you who don't know, anybody can edit. There's really, truly anybody can edit. The advantage that Wikipedia has is if you edit something and you put it in there, you do have to cite your work and where the information came from. So there's a lot of sources in here, but I'm just looking here and scrolling through. It's like, in popular culture and fiction, black magic. Track off the Slayer album, Show No Mercy, in 1983.
Yep.
Okay, The Craft, a 1996 film. Final Fantasy, a video game series. Charmed. Okay. The Power of Five. It's a series by Anthony Horowitz about black magic and evil sorcerers. Okay. Ooh, The Night Watch. More magicians. Supernatural. Versailles is a zombie movie. It's like, okay.
So combing through the internet.
Combing through the internet, finally I get down to the references all the way down at the bottom. And it's like, there's an Encyclopedia of Occultism and Parapsychology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I could read that. Contemporary Religious Satanism, a critical anthology. Probably not quite what I'm looking for, but it could be there. Witchcraft and Black Magic by Montague Summers. Okay, I could read that one. White Magic, Black Magic in the European Renaissance. That one would be a good one. That one's by Paola Zambelli. The Shaman and Ayahuasca, Journeys to Sacred Realms by Don Jose Campos. Okay, so, there is quite a few books in, once I finally get down to where the sites are to find the information.
And that's a Wikipedia page?
That's a Wikipedia page.
Right, so the Wikipedia, you don't necessarily read what's written in Wikipedia. Use the sites to lead you to the cited material that will give you what you're looking for.
Exactly. So, but that's just in Googling things. So I remember when I went to college, initially, the internet was slowly becoming a bigger deal. And they do make everybody do this introductory course, so you get used to the college and the campus and where the library is and how to look for things and their systems and everything. And so it was like a communications class, if you will. But one of the things we had to do was do internet research and talk about what we found. Well, it was a smaller college, and so it was more like a community college, and so we had a broad age group in the class. And I was with 5 other people, and they're like, so what should we do? It's like, I don't know, what do we all like to do? It's like, I like to cook. What do you guys like to do? And we found out we all like to cook. It's like, let's look up cookbooks. Okay. And I think Webcrawler was the search engine of the time. And it was the Anarchist Cookbook or something like that was the top result in the list. It's like, I don't think this is what we want. So we click on it. No, that's not what we want. There's how to make black powder, how to make C4, how to do this and how to do that, and how to basically create anarchy. And so we use that as the negative source or the negative thing that you can find on the internet if you're not careful what you're searching for. So the internet search engines, garbage in, garbage out. What you put in for researching or the labels that you use to research, that's the information you get back. But apparently, I've been on break for like 2 minutes now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what happens when there's no bumper music.
Yeah. Whoops.
Well, I'll take a break because I got to go get ice cream.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah. I'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
We're going to take 30 minutes, 30 seconds. Hello, my lovelies. This is Paisley Wild, and we are off adventuring into the spaces between. So those of you on TFR, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, TalkStream Live, sorry you missed about 2 minutes of Don and I talking about Wikipedia. So during break, Titan says, well, also in our current age, with info being so prevalent, people do not sit at the feet of those who have mastered certain crafts. So you can see crafts observed and repeated. Yeah, there's a lot of that. You don't sit at the foot of the masters to learn as an apprentice anymore. You really don't. Instead, you go to Pinterest and you see what everybody's doing, or Reddit or whatever. And so if somebody posts something that isn't 100% factual, for instance, black magic being racist, that's not a factual thing regarding the origins of black magic. But because it's a hot topic in our society here in the U.S. right now.
Dog whistle words.
Yeah, dog whistle words. That's a hot button, hot topic. It draws a lot of attention, and so people, even though it's not factual, it's repetitive fiction, and it's like if you say fiction as a fact often enough, everybody starts to believe it as fact. And unfortunately, that's really not true. I mean, fact is fact and false is false, no matter how often you repeat it or how loudly you yell it. So you do have to be careful. And Pinterest is one of those things. You go to Pinterest and there's all these different posts on how to make this or how to make that. And that's cool because you get some really great ideas on how to make things. But there are also a lot of posts like, oh, if you have this line, it means you were born a hereditary witch. Or if you have this line, it means you have this kind of psychic power or this or that. Is there some truth to that because of palmistry? Yes. However, there's enough misinformation out there that look upon it, that kind of thing, as entertainment. Kind of like the quizzes or tests that, Facebook will put up like, hey.
Are you a Gryffindor or a Hufflepuff?
I'm a dragon.
Hufflepuff is just the overflow class.
At least they got along with everybody. You really have to pay attention to what you're searching for as far as information goes online. Wikipedia, not a lot of fact always. However, the sites that are down at the bottom, like where did that information come from? That's important because you can find where the information came from so you can read it for yourself.
Right. Instead of listening through somebody else's filter.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Titan says there is value there, but it can't be as much as finding those in person that have the knowledge of what we're searching for. Absolutely. And that's why, even though, by the internet, like right now, I am talking to people all over the world. But it's not the same as having a group of people sitting here in the living room and talking about magic and our individual experiences and learning about magic in general or spirituality in general. The interaction isn't quite the same. That's why a lot of schools, even though they have an online option nowadays because of COVID, we're still missing out on a lot of the social interaction or that hands-on interaction that we would normally have in a classroom or a workshop type setting.
Or a good, healthy argument. Debate.
A good, healthy argument. There is nothing wrong with a good, healthy argument because a good, healthy argument and a debate are very much the same thing. A good, healthy argument means you guys are both presenting your points backed up by facts and reasoning and logic and not just who can yell the loudest. I've seen both. So, magic. Black magic, it's not racist, guys. It's just the first level of magic that the Catholic Church demonized as Christianity moved into society and began to assimilate and take over the culture. Sorry, Christianity were the first Borg. Unfortunately, I mean, it wasn't until probably in the last 50 years that magic has become to slowly emerge from the ashes. Magic is the true phoenix. Paganism is the true phoenix because we are slowly arising from the ashes of obscurity, of the things that have been lost due to demonizing the past. Now, the lesson here that I really hope that people can understand and comprehend without feeling attacked by it is that in our society today, there are quite a few things that we don't like, don't necessarily want to experience, don't necessarily want to see. But by destroying those things and removing those things, we're also preventing the future from experiencing those things or understanding those things. So, for instance, the Druids didn't write much down. So, as a result, we don't have a written record of true Druidic practices. Reconstructionists do the best they can. Neo-Druids do the best they can. But it's the best they can. They don't have a written record. A lot of the spiritual traditions that pagans observe are interpreted from documents that were written by Christians that were interpreted by them from oral histories from the people who knew the oral histories. And as a result, it's like the telephone game. There is information that is lost through that translation, not just from ancient Germanic or High Germanic to contemporary English, but through the different ages, the words have changed, the definitions have changed. If you don't think so, you should. The word geek today, it's very synonymous with nerd. Once upon a time, the word geek was defined someone who bit the head off of roosters. So, as our culture changes, as our society changes, the definitions of the words that we use change. Period. So what was logic and commonplace, a millennia ago, is not commonplace today necessarily, and often mystifying to those who are around today. I was like, what the heck are you trying to say? These's and thouses and themses.
It reminds me of those books, the Emberverse.
Mm-hmm.
They were going through and they got to the South Midwest,
Mm-hmm.
and they met that group that they're like, "What the hell did you just say?"
Yes.
Huh? Anyhow, sir.
I spent 4 years in northern Minnesota. It took me 6 weeks minimum to begin to understand what people were saying, because all I could think is like, did y'all just get off the dang boat? Oof da. And then they were totally convinced I was from Texas because my southern accent was so strong. It's like, I'm from Iowa. It's not that far away. We share a border. The interpretation of the words changes over the millennia, over time. So the history that we vilify today, the history that we lose today because it's being vilified, is history that unfortunately will be repeated in the future because future generations aren't going to understand it or experience it or see it.
Right. Well, that's like history is written by the victor. Well, the history is not only written by the victor, but it's also destroyed by the victor. So even those written down, the book burnings in Nazi Germany, anytime the Spaniards went into a new conquest, they would burn everything.
The library at Alexandria.
Yeah, exactly.
Talk about a loss.
All of that knowledge, all of that tradition, all of that may be translated from oral tradition to written word through some kind of a medium, scribe, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is. It's all lost. It's all lost, and it has to. People have to reconnect to for it to reemerge.
Mm-hmm.
Where was I going?
Crazy. Yeah. But in order to keep from losing that knowledge or that historical knowledge, we have to stop vilifying the history. Just like, am I a Christian today? No. Am I going to follow that path? No. Is it my path to follow? No. However, that doesn't mean I'm going to go and destroy that path or that tradition, or I'm not going to have a Bible burning in the backyard. One, there's a burn ban and I'd get a ticket. Two, why would I buy a book just so I could burn it? That's something I've never understood.
I just stop by any hotel. You'll just grab one.
Okay, yeah, the Gideons like to share a lot. I get it, but that's
they Gideon it too.
I've never understood why you would buy something just so you could destroy it.
Do you know that's why the Bible is the #1 selling book in all of history?
Because people like to destroy it.
No, it's because the Gideons.
Oh yeah, the Gideons they're very good at getting the word out. But yeah, I just financially, why are you buying a book just to burn it? I don't get it. But like right now, there's the ban list for books in like high schools. To Kill a Mockingbird is on that.
To Kill a Mockingbird has always been on that.
It shouldn't be though.
No, it should.
There are very valuable lessons to be learned.
Fahrenheit 451 shouldn't be on that list.
Huckleberry Finn, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.
That's subversive.
But those are all things. There's social. Yeah, I know. It's because it was normal during that time. Yeah. It was accepted. It was commonplace. And that's the other thing is.
Well, maybe not accepted, but it was common.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of words that we use today that are commonplace that in reality don't make a lot of sense. Like calling Native Americans Indians. Technically, they're not Indians. They're Native Americans.
Well, that's true. But
because they're not from the country of India.
No, they're not.
Unless they came over a long time ago.
but then again, that was just because of a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody didn't read a map correctly.
Yes.
God forbid.
Somebody didn't pass, elementary geography.
He had a lot of geography, I'm sure.
He had a lot of something. So
he had a lot of money from the Queen of Spain.
I wonder what else he had a lot of to get the money from the Queen of Spain. Anyways, but that's politics. Politics has a negative impact on society and history as well. Yeah, history is written by the victor. History is also destroyed by the victor. 100% correct. Very, very true statement. So those of us that may not be considered the victor, we have to still remember that history. We still have to keep track of it, which is why I think there's a very old set of encyclopedias, as in like the late 1980s, early 1990s. I know Mini-Me has a children's encyclopedia set that's in a box. That's from the 70s, I think. Is some of it true today? No. But is there information in there that...
You'll never see anywhere else?
Yes, there is. So, yeah, we need to remember not to lose the information, because to me, that's the true black magic. Losing that information because it's no longer politically correct.
Red delicious. Sorry.
Oh, that's funny. So Titan says, heard a good one today. The Washington Redskins should keep their name but change the logo to an apple. The Red Delicious. I get it. Or are they Fuji's?
No, Fuji's not red.
They're kind of a pink.
That's true.
They're stripy.
Anyhow. No striping striper.
What was in your ice cream?
I'll never tell.
So
I have to talk to Justin again.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Hey, Justin, you'll probably get an email. So, black magic, white magic, as I've said in the past, and I'll say it again and again and again, is just magic. And the label of black magic and white magic was an Abrahamic application of labeling in order to vilify tradition, cultural tradition, spiritual tradition, or paganism and witchcraft. That has absolutely nothing to do with skin color at all.
No, that's just ignorance.
That is a contemporary viewpoint.
That's wokeness.
Yeah. So when someone says, oh, black magic this or black magic that or white magic this, or white magic that, I want y'all to stop and think about, where are they coming from? Do they really understand what they're saying? Do they understand the foundation of the concept of black magic versus white magic? Odds are good. No, because people today are so ADD that they have a hard time watching a video longer than a TikTok video. And so, as a result, they don't really understand what they're saying. It has no basis in good magic versus bad magic. Left-hand path versus right-hand path is also a Christian translation of a spiritual path. Left hand was for Satan, right hand was for Jesus. That's all it is. So, hey, Nessie. So if you're saying you're on the left-hand path, basically you're a Satanist, according to the Christians. Right-hand path, oh, you're the path of good and path of righteousness. Well, no, that's not really what it is. So magic is magic is magic.
What makes it different? Intent.
Intent. What are you going to do with it? So, earlier in the show, Naysay asked, what's gray magic? Well, it's the stuff that's coming out of my head.
That's us, yeah.
But gray magic is supposedly, the combination of black and white. Because the misconception is that black magic is those who are willing to curse, and white magic is those that are not. Well, no, that's just magic. And gray magic doesn't mean that...
God's forbid.
What?
Justin says, sorry, my kids and wife and I got into a deep conversation because of your show, so I was diverted for a bit. God forbid. God forbid.
I inspired conversation and dialogue in a family. That's kind of cool, actually. I'm going to revel in that for a moment. That's cool. That's kind of awesome, Justin. Thank you. But the assumption that black magic is evil and white magic is good is just that. It's an assumption. It's an interpretation. It is a modern day application of labeling to historical fact. So magic is magic is magic. Left hand path, right hand path. It depends how much you've been drinking and where you're staggering. It is just the path. So for me, and for those who have asked me to coach them or guide them, magic is magic. It's your intent. What are you going to do with it? Your path is a path. Sometimes you're going to...
A prayer is considered a form of magic.
Yes. I was going to get to it in a moment. But your path goes, all over the place. If you've ever watched a Dennis or read a Dennis the Menace cartoon where Dennis is leaving school and it's got little dots going from school and it goes all over the neighborhood, over the buildings and through the woods and over the river and, through the tunnels before he gets home, that's what the path is. It is a meandering place. You're going to go where you need to go to learn the lessons that you need to learn. That's it. So Nessie says, is prayer considered a form of magic? Absolutely. Prayer is a spell. It's a ritual. Actually, no, it's a spell. Let's stick with spell. Just like if you're casting a spell, you're taking components, you're saying the words to direct the energy. A prayer, you generally can collect the ingredients, the physical stuff, the tangible. Instead, it's... Don's trying to ring his bell. Instead, it's you're using words to direct the energy. So magic is energy. Energy is magic. Rituals, ceremonies, prayer, spell work, all of that is to guide the energy to where it needs to go. Apparently, Don doesn't know what shh means. How much noise can you make in the next 30 seconds? I'm not... Don't...
Keep trying.
Leo says we have a great family show. I'm glad you love it here.
I just want to put out a proviso. Don doesn't generally... Well, he does. But doesn't do a very good job at censoring his words.
Well, and neither do I sometimes. Sometimes the language isn't always family friendly. Something else that kind of drives me nuts once in a while is people wanting trigger warnings on different posts.
Shut up and go straight to...
Hades?
I was going to say hell with one L. But that's still too good of a place sometimes.
The Elysium Fields. Um,
Elysium Fields forever.
so, if you're not being triggered, you're not being provoked.
Yeah, you're not being challenged.
And if you're not being challenged and provoked, your brain isn't kicking in and trying to figure the whys and the how's-its. Now, that being said, I have seen a few things that they don't trigger me, like freak me out or panic me. They will light my fuse and I will blow up. So it's a really good thing that I'm not the only mod in some places. It's like, all right, someone else needs to handle this, or I'm going to tell them to take a long walk off a short pier in shark-infested waters, while carrying a bucket of chum. So,
While being a bucket of chum.
it just, yeah, there's, yeah, not so much the trigger warnings. Sorry, guys.
Tough luck.
We talk about magic. We talk about energy. And Leo says we're still a great family show. Thanks, Leo. You guys are awesome. I love the feedback, guys. So, speaking of feedback, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Just saying. Ooh. I see likes. Cool. And yeah, if you do have questions, send me the email at wildepaisley@gmail.com. What are you doing?
Not on screen, nothing.
Oh my goodness. Titan says, we have the capability of good and evil. We just have to be aware that our choices have an equal exchange of value. Yes.
Nope.
Also, we need to remember cause and effect. You know, what we do has an effect. It has a rebound effect. And, you know, if we make a choice, we generally logic out, you know, these are the consequences, you know, of that choice. But we also need to stop and give some mental energy to the unintended consequences. What are the things you don't have control over? So, yeah, if you don't have control over it, are you sure that that's the choice you want to make? Just like, if you quit your job today, that's the cause. What are the effects?
So this guy at work gets on the radio. He says, "Hey, Don." So what's up? What would you do if I said I was quitting right now and walking out the door? Said, I guess I'm going to close the shop. Oh, just kidding. Really?
He said that?
Yes.
Hmm.
I'm like, cause and effect. You caused my blood pressure to spike because you're a jackass.
How do you really feel?
Oh my goodness. He's a douche on the river of canoe.
You know, he's in a canoe on the douche river. So.
Don't fall in.
You're right. Magic is magic. Energy is energy. Magic is energy. Energy is magic. There is no white magic. There is no black magic. There is no left path. There is no right path. It is all the path. It is all magic. Just like if you look at a coin, are you the heads or are you the tails?
I'm the edge.
Are you ridged? Do you have ripples?
Ripples.
So, you know, it's just a coin, for crying out loud, you know. It's just a thing, and it's just a tool. It's not like, well, is it an evil hammer or is it a good hammer?
I don't know. Did you hit the nail or your thumb?
Right?
It's a damn hammer.
Is it a evil jug of orange juice or a good jug of orange juice? It depends. When was the expiration date? So, you know, you really have to stop and think about the concepts that people tout. And as I'm working on my grown-up book, you know, that's one of the things I talk about. Magic is magic. The path is the path. And energy is magic. Magic is energy. To me, those are very, very basic foundational concepts. So yeah, that's the show for tonight. There's no black magic. There's no white magic. It's just magic. What are you snickering about now? I think Don is punchy. He's tired.
I snicker about everything.
All right. Do you know there's a book out there called Picatrix?
What?
Picatrix. Picatrix.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said Necatrix.
No, it's Picatrix. It talks
Okay.
about necromancy.
Oh.
Anyways, so link for the show notes will be in there. And thanks for joining tonight, guys, and putting up with the insanity. Remember, magic is energy. Oh, exactly,
Yes,
Titan. I hope you guys have a great night. Happy full moon, and we'll see you tomorrow. So merry meet and merry part and merry meet again. We'll see you guys
I'll
next
part
time. Oh, where's that button? Good night, guys.